All right, y'all, welcome back to another episode of hashtag CB99 Talks. This is episode 70, and of course, I'm Combo Breaker 99. All right, y'all, we are now 70 episodes deep in this podcast, and if you still haven't subscribed, just subscribe to my YouTube channel, Combo Breaker 99, and you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Play, and you just type in hashtag CB99 Talks. It's the only podcast with this name that's going to come up, and, if you love combat sports, especially WMMA, that's what we cover over here, and I just got to thank all my subscribers, new followers that's been, jumping in and always giving their points in live streams and on the podcast as well. So yeah, man, we're back with another episode. Once again, it's been a crazy past 2 weekends in the world of WMMA, and I want to jump back 2 weekends ago as well and talk about a couple of flyweights that made their debut and just compare them, just kind of compare them as far as them being welcome to the UFC. Aaron Blanchfield and Mandy Boehm. I want to talk about them a little bit. Then, of course, UFC 266. This was a big weekend for the flyweight division, kind of like a flyweight tournament, mini flyweight tournament, if you will. Taila Santos getting her win over a top 10 contender in Roxanne Modafferi. So, got to talk about that fight and what's next for Taila Santos. Andrade and Calvillo. Got to talk about Calvillo a little bit here. Whether fans of Calvillo like it or not, we got to discuss the obvious and what's real, because if you're in this fight game, we got to look at it, we got to analyze it and see what these fighters are doing right and what they're doing wrong, right? We got to address it. I got to address it as a fan of the sport. I got to address it, So yeah, we're going to talk about that, of course, and then we got to talk about the masterpiece that Shevchenko put on and why she is where she is, why she is where she is right now. We got to talk about that, man. But overall, man, just understand, man, there's a first time for everything. There's a first time for everything, and that's something that Cynthia Calvillo and Lauren Murphy, they learned this past Saturday. This is the first time they've been stopped in their careers. Grit, heart, durability, determination, that's not going to save you all the time. That's not going to save you. The 3Ds that I talked about in the live stream, I'm going to bring up at the end of this podcast, that's what keeps Valentina Shevchenko pumping, thriving, pulsing, and getting better and improving it as a fighter. So we'll jump back to that at the end of the show. But yeah, man, first off, let's jump back and talk about a couple weekends ago, a couple of flyweights making their debut. Welcome to the UFC, Aaron Blanchfield and Mandy Boehm. Welcome, Aaron, and welcome, Mandy Boehm. I mean, welcome, it's more of a celebration for Aaron Blanchfield, but for Mandy Boehm, not much. Both fighters got learning experiences in their own way, but Aaron Blanchfield, she made her debut the way every new fighter wants to come in, right? Aaron Blanchfield, she went in there and showcased her skill set. She showed you what I've been talking about as a fighter and then some. She came in there prepared, knowing that, look, this is what I've been wanting. This is my goal. And I can't downplay this opponent. Whoever it is, I can't downplay it. And that's why she was able to succeed the way she did. Some people said, why didn't she get a stoppage? Doesn't matter. She went in there and dominated, and she made a big statement. So that's what you want in a fighter like Aaron Blanchfield, somebody that's going to go in there and show you, look, I'm not holding back. I'm giving it my all. I'm not giving my opponent any respect. And that's what she did. That's what she did last couple of Saturdays ago against Sarah Alpar. Mandy Boehm, on the other hand, like I said, she was welcomed into the UFC that way that no fighter wants to be. She was in there welcomed by Ariane Lipski, who's 2-4. A fighter that was kind of on the downslide, but she's been making improvements as well. And when you think about it, that's kind of dangerous. That's a dangerous situation to be in. If you're Mandy Boehm making your debut against a fighter who's 2-4, there comes a point when those type of fighters, they get tired of going on those losing streaks, and they're dangerous. That's one of the most dangerous types of fighters out there. So for Mandy Boehm, she had to be on the same level as Aaron Blanchfield. She had to go in there and say, oh, look, I know this fighter they're giving me, it might seem like a soft touch, but I have to go in there and be on my game plan and be on my disrespect. You got to be on your disrespect to some of these fighters, because if you don't, they will walk all over you. Because another case in point was Andrea Lee. Y'all remember Andrea Lee was on her 4-fight losing streak, and Antonina Shevchenko was her next opponent. So for Antonina Shevchenko, she was kind of in the same boat. I know she wasn't making her debut, but she was taking on a fighter on a 4-fight losing streak and somebody that was tired of losing. Okay, same with Ariane Lipski. She was tired of losing. She said, "Look, I'm going in there. I'm not letting somebody who's 7-0 come in here and dismantle me and beat me. I'm gonna go in there and show you what I can do and that's what Ariane Lipski did. So Mandy Boehm, she had to go in there and, you know, like I said, break that ice. You have to break that ice and showcase, look, I belong. When you belong, that means you look like one of these other fighters and you're not under any type of pressure. See, Mandy Boehm, she started off looking a little bit comfortable, but as soon as she tasted Lipski's power, she went on the defense and she became too respectful. It was like she never felt anything like that before. And that shows you that she's never fought this caliber of opponent before. I know in the UFC, we talk about Ariane Lipski being lower than the rest because she is, and that's judged on a UFC level. But when you're talking about what Mandy Boehm's faced in her resume, this was something new to her because as soon as she tasted that power and that type of skill set when it came down to her stand-up, Mandy Boehm didn't have any type of game plan. She couldn't get on the inside. She couldn't take this fight to the ground. She couldn't even use her jab. She just kind of like, I won't say froze up, but she just went on the defense and stayed in the fight just to survive, So both fighters had their learning experiences in their own way. Like I said, Erin Blanchfield, her learning experience was that, hey, look, the fighters get tougher and tougher, but as long as I stay in my dominant mode, I'm gonna always thrive and make improvements. That's why I've been telling y'all, look, Erin Blanchfield, she's one of these fighters that I've been watching since she was like 19, and I like the improvements she's been making. Been watching her since she was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, just straight up. And, since she's been evolving as a kickboxer and striker, she's been putting everything together. And I think she is going to be that future of the flyweight division. That's why you have to keep an eye out for it. You have to kind of go all the way down. You have to really analyze some of these fighters and go back and look at what they really do and what makes them dominant. What makes them dominant, like Erin Blanchfield and fighters like Manon Firo. What makes them thrive and surpass the rest and get signed somewhere to the UFC. Mandy Boehm, she was on a undefeated streak, being 7-0, but you had to look at the caliber of opponents and how she was handling. That's what it all comes down to. How was she handling these opponents? Was she just running through them, or were they always competitive fights? Undefeated streak doesn't mean much. It doesn't mean much. Unless you're really like just blowing out opponents, that can tell us, okay, maybe you do need to advance a little bit. But it shows you here a couple Saturdays ago that Mandy Boehm, she just wasn't ready. She wasn't ready. So yeah, both fighters welcomed into the UFC, but she got that welcome, from that one fighter in Ariane Lipski that said, look, I'm not leaving the UFC. I'm not going out like that. I'm not going in there come 2-5. I'm not your stepping stone. That's basically what she said. I am not your stepping stone. So yeah, man, congrats to Erin Blanchfield, and big respect to Mandy Boehm for taking the fight and going 3 rounds with Ariane Lipski and taking them big right hands. I mean, she took some big right hands. I mean, that was crazy. That was really crazy, man. But yeah, like I said, to break into the UFC, man, you just have to bring in those tools. You have to make sure they're sharp, break that ice, and show that right amount of disrespect. That's all I have to say on that, though. Yeah, man. But we'll talk more about Blanchfield. We'll keep up with her. And, like I said, I always put the spotlight on these prospects coming up. She might be part of that quadruple threat. You don't know, right? So, yeah, man, this past weekend, Taila Santos dominated Roxanne Modafferi. And, yeah, pretty much went the way I said it was going to go. Taila Santos has a good mix of strength and athleticism and good technique on the ground, and a mixture of both, to me, when I do my math, will always beat a fighter who just has a good ground game but no physical strength, because that's what Taila Santos, she was able to do to Jillian Robertson also. Jillian Robertson, great on the ground. She's great on the ground. Again, Taila Santos, good on the ground, but she has athleticism and strength. So when you put all that together, she's able to nullify any submission attempts of Jillian Robertson. Same with Roxanne. Roxanne, in this fight, really had no moments on the ground at all because Taila Santos was just overwhelming. She was just overwhelming overall. She was good in the clinch, Did well with her striking. She's made some nice improvements. Roxanne was doing okay with her striking at a range because she is like an inch taller than Taila Santos, so she did use the long jab and the long right hand a few times. But then Taila Santos' jab started, being a factor. She started slamming the jab into the face of Roxy, throwing off that awkward rhythm, and then those right hands were coming in. So she was throwing those 3-punch combinations in the first round, and then she said, "Hey, let me punch my way in, or if Roxy comes in, hey." Even better, she would clinch up and just straight take Roxy to the ground. And that's what you have to do with Roxanne. Like, Roxanne is good on the ground, but if you give her range, she will win the fight. I'm not gonna lie. Roxy, if you do let her get into a rhythm like Anthony Shevchenko, Andrea Lee, Macy Barber, fighters like that, if you go back and look at their fights with Roxanne, anytime that they gave her range and started letting her dictate the pace on the feet with the striking, she'd be able to switch levels and take you down and get that top position and then like get a full mount and just dominate. So Taila Santos, she took the lead in this fight. She said, "I'm taking this fight to the ground. I'm smothering you. I'm the stronger fighter." She followed that blueprint of all the strong fighters that beat her. Like I said, follow that pattern I talked about, man. That win-loss pattern. It's not just like a pattern. Like that's what she does. It's the fact that the ones she's taking L's to are physically strong fighters with good grappling skills. Go back and look at her win-loss pattern. Those fighters are good grapplers and they're physically stronger than her. That's why she was always losing those fights and just getting manhandled. But yeah, overall, I think Taila Santos, she did a good job against Roxanne, and that's what you need to do. Like, this is one of those D's. You need to show that dominance in this type of fight and discipline. I just think from here, maybe Taila Santos, the one thing I would like to see, she has the dominance and discipline that she's developing, but that defense. I think Roxanne hit her a few times in the third round with some good clean strikes. And, if you step your game up against fighters either like Jennifer Maia, or Jessica Andrade, believe me, they will land shots on her. Molly McCann, she was able to land the right hand on Taila Santos a few times. So, that's just honest assessment from the outside, just honest analysis. And I think that, defense is one of the D's that she's going to have to work on before we can see her in the title shot. But she's definitely on the right move. This is what we need in the division. I think that Taila Santos is off to a good start of, getting one of the older fighters out of the game or out of the rankings, push her down the rankings, push those fighters down the rankings that don't really want the title shot. Because I never really got the vibe from Roxanne that she wanted the title shot, whereas these fighters on the lower level like Miranda Maverick, Manon Firo, they're already talking about it. They're already talking about going for gold. They have a goal. And I think, fighters like Roxanne, whenever they defeated Anthony Shevchenko and Macy Barber, she should have been screaming for a title shot. She could have actually got it, but instead she wanted to fight Lauren Murphy, and what happened? She lost, right? She lost. So that kind of shows you that she was kind of her own. She was her own wall. She was her own wall to getting that title shot. So I want to see somebody like Taila Santos who has the grind and wants to go for gold. That's what I want to see. What do y'all think in the comment section? As I do this show, I'm going to post it up later live, but on a live stream. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, guys, because like I said, there's still some more to be seen in improvements in Taila Santos. But that's, now that she's in the top 10, that's all the more reason now, to get better and better. Hopefully this is something that she's been working on and just really developing the physical strength that she's going to need going into a title shot and to just dominate these other fighters. And that's the thing I want to talk about too. Like with Taila Santos, she can't just win from here on. She just can't win from here on. I think she's going to have to go in there and dominate. She's going to have to dominate. She's going to have to dominate these common opponents that Valentina Shevchenko has dominated to make this fight even more so look competitive. Not just look competitive, but for that Shevchenko fight to be competitive. You have to go in there and thrash these ladies. Like the Roxanne fight was dominant, but I would have loved to seen her turn her on that kill switch and stop her. Like in the third round when she dropped her with the left hook, I would have loved to seen her just let Roxanne stand up and just, knock her out, get her out of there, or, submit her, do one of those things. And that's the one thing I will say, like, I want to see moving forward from here from Taila Santos is, do what, you have to be in there doing what Shevchenko does to get it. Not in the exact same way, but to be dominant. That's why I say those 3Ds are generic, like defense, dominance, and discipline. Get it the way you get it however you can, to make it work for you. Get it however you can to make it work for you, because if you get that dominance factor, that title shot will come, and it could possibly be yours if you can be dominant in the fight. If you can go in there and dictate the pace and be disrespectful and make it about you, you be that cold-blooded killer, it'll be about you in there, and you could possibly get the title, So that's what I want to see from Taila Santos. I just want to see her be a little bit more dominant and make it one-sided in all these fights. You have to, because that's one of the forms of MMA math that usually adds up. Like, if you even look back at some boxing matches, like the guy who kind of skates by in some of these fights, when he challenges for that title shot against a dominant champion, he's usually going to come up short. I know styles make fights, but it's all about the respect level you show in there too as well. Respect is, that's a common theme I'm always going to be bringing up, in these shows and live streams, whatever I do, because you are supposed to show a level of respect to a fighter, but you're supposed to disrespect as well. Not disrespect by calling them mom names and things like that, but just showing them that, look, get out of the way. This is mine. It's my time to shine. That level of disrespect, So yeah, shout out to Taila Santos. That's one of my triple threats that's answered some questions for y'all once again, because some of y'all are still like on the fence about my my triple threat. Not talking about you, BJ, but some of y'all are still kind of throwing low-key disses out there. I know the triple threat, y'all think it's supposed to be like Hall of Famers, but no, I'm talking about prospects. I'm talking about potential contenders for the belt. Taila Santos just answered your question. She's a top 10 fighter. A known Firo. She's going to answer y'all's question in a couple more weeks against Myra Buena Silva. Miranda Maverick, I think she's already answered some of y'all's questions. She was just robbed against Macy Barber. So the triple threat's in effect, man, for real. And they might be quadruple, like I said, if Erin Blanchfield, continues to do what she does. And she's dangerous, man. But yeah, Taila Santos, though, let's see what's next for her. Taila Santos, what y'all want to see? Let's think. Taila Santos. How about Jennifer Maia? Jennifer Maia is a good fight. And then maybe one of the gatekeepers, Andrade and Caitlin Chikagan, because that's how it's been looking. Caitlin Chikagan and Jessica Andrade are like the gatekeepers. We've seen it time and time again. These are the two fighters you got to get by, and to me, you have to dominate one or the other to get to that title shot. Shevchenko's already kind of like tamed them and put them in check, and they're kind of like, at her throne defending it for her. You know what I mean? You get past her, you can get to the champ. So before we do that, let's see Taila Santos in there with Jennifer Maia, or maybe like the winner of JoJo versus Grasso. But then again, JoJo versus Grasso winner, if JoJo wins, I think she could be getting the title shot, not Grasso. But we'll see, man. We got to do a live stream with just the flyweights and do this little tournament. Like I said, I got a little bracket I wrote out, little, unofficial tournament bracket. And I got to put it out. I got to flesh it all out, man, because we have to make sense of what this division is offering right now. I mean, everything under Shevchenko is a very competitive fight, and it's interesting. It's very interesting. So, yeah, shout out to Taila Santos, one of the triple threat, answers y'all's questions once again. She is a top 10 contender. All right, so let's move on. All right, man. Jessica Andrade goes in there, does it again. She does it again with that butcher knife of her right hand. She stops Cynthia Calvillo in the first round. And like I said, believe me, I'm human. I was almost sold. I was almost sold by the Calvillo, sale. She was selling it to me. She was selling it to me that she had this type of confidence and call out that was, going to go in there and win her the fight, and after, listening to what she was saying at the press conference, her interviews, I was like, okay, maybe she's really been studying this fight for Jessica Andrade. Like, she's always said for number one, Calvillo's always said she was a flyweight. Well, pretty much, she said she was having trouble making straw weight, and the weight at straw weight, and 125 was where she needed to be, right? So I was like, okay, maybe she's just growing into that weight, and she's going to showcase that strength. And then, she threw out another pointer. Hey, I got the best grappling in the flyweight division. I got the best grappling over Valentina Shevchenko. I could give Shevchenko problems, right? So she throws that out there. And then she goes on Instagram, after cornering an Invicta fighter, where Jessica Andrade was also cornering an Invicta fighter, and she says, hey, I want to make this fight. Made her UFC make this fight happen. So that was 3 points right there. I was like, okay, maybe Calvillo was on to something. Maybe that Chikagan fight was just kind of an off night after testing positive, right? So she gave us some nice little things to go on. That confidence, she was seeing something a la Mikey Garcia. And we were all sold. A lot of people have already made their pick, and they were solid with it. Me, I was on the fence. My very first pick was just Andrade. I was like, hands down, Andrade. But then the more and more I kept doing research and, like I said, listening to what she was saying and looking at what other people were saying, like, I was like, maybe she does have it. Like, I want to see Calvillo win. I wanted to see Calvillo win. Wanting to see her win and knowing she's going to win, that's two different things. Two different things. So wanting to see her win, I said, okay, I'm gonna ride with her. I'm gonna pick her. But then I was like, oh, hold up. Nah, man, this ain't me. I gotta go with what's right, man. I gotta go with what's real, what I'm really feeling. So I switched back to Andrade. I said, man, Andrade is probably going to dominate this fight. It'd probably be a decision because I think Calvillo will, stay on the bike, stay durable. And if she can't execute, maybe at least she'll have an escape plan to stay away from the slams, right? But man, first time for everything. Like I said, man, first time for everything. Jessica Andrade just went in there and, did it with the butcher knife right hand to the head continuously on Cynthia Calvillo. Another first round finish in the flyweight division for Andrade. And you could see right from the jump, man, Calvillo was respectful of the power. Like everything she had said was not there. Everything she said was not there. This was not a grappling fight. She was not trying to set up any grappling moments. She was taking the striker approach. And that's what I was kind of afraid of she was going to do, because I've seen her stance in the past, and she's always had good takedowns and good attempts at switching levels and good ground game, but she's always kind of started off in that boxer stance, and that's not going to work against Andrade unless you have a very, very good jab and you're physically strong. Like if you're Joanna or Rose, then you can pop shot all day, but Calvillo doesn't have feet like that. She'll go on the back foot, but she can still get hit. And Andrade definitely proved that. Andrade's not the best striker, but Andrade could close the distance and land her beautiful right hands with ease on Calvillo. Calvillo was pretty much on bike mode, on survival mode. Whereas when you see Joanna on the back foot, she's measuring distance, she's hitting angles, she's getting in and out, she's pot shotting you in her combinations with leg kicks. Where Calvillo was getting off a couple counters here and there, but with nothing with respect on him. So, Andrade said, okay, you throwing little shots out, I'm going to just walk you down. And I think Calvillo, at the start of the bell, she felt it. You know what I mean? Like, you could feel that presence. You could feel that strength barreling down on you, like, even before it touches you. And I think that's what took her out of her whole game plan. Calvillo was just out of her game plan when that little wide tank was coming at her. She was like, uh-oh, here it comes. She was like, oh no, I don't know if this is gonna work. That's kind of what the mind state was. Like, she could, get mad at whatever, Calvillo fans can get mad, but reading the body language and everything that happened, and reading Calvillo's Instagram after, I think she took the post down, but there was a post where she described like, oh, I didn't know the power was gonna feel like that. And then she was like, everybody say, yeah, I read the whole thing, but I mean, what Calvillo said in it was pretty much spot on to how I was thinking that night. When I was watching her body language, I was like, uh-oh, I think she's already kind of feeling that presence coming towards you. Like when you see fighters like Tank Davis or Mike Tyson coming at you, you can feel it. You can feel it before you even like physically feel it. And that's what Calvillo did. She was on the back foot already, getting back to the cage in surrender mode. So when she ate that first right hand, she was like, uh-oh, I'm staying back here. She took one attempt at going in for a clinch or a takedown, but then she stopped. And to me, I was like, that was probably going to be her moment. Like, if she lets Calvillo take her down, or if she tries to get a trip and a takedown on Andrade, that's where you want to be. Get slammed by Andrade, fine. You wind up on the back. Hey, your ground game's as good as Shevchenko's or better. Your ground game's the best in the flyweight division. Hey, let's roll with it. If you get slammed on your back, Show us what you can do off your back. You know what I mean? Show us something. So that's what I wanted to see. That's exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a grappling match. I didn't want to see her try to be a striker in this fight because I knew that she didn't have the striking abilities like a Joanna Rose to go in there and bang with Andrade. I mean, you can see how Rose Namajunas is one of the best strikers in the strawweight division. Got some of the best footwork and striking, but you see what happened to her in both fights. You could still see what happened to her in both fights. So when you think about it all in all, like Calvillo wasn't going to be able to do much. Calvillo was not going to be able to do much on the feet. So this had to be her fight to go to the ground. But what did she do? Hey, no jab, no level changes. And again, like maybe one attempt. So Calvillo, she really can't be mad at anybody at this point. Like I said, I read the IG post. I think it was taken down. And, she said, F everybody that was talking junk. And, hey, I never felt that power before. Well, when you sell something to people and it doesn't work, people are going to get mad. Bottom line, people are going to get mad. You sell somebody a lemon and you talk it up big, you be like, oh man, this car, this thing runs, it'll last for 20 years. It's good on gas, brand new tires. And then they drive it off the lot and the tires fall off. Smoke start coming out the air conditioned vents. Car starts leaking fluids and they come to you and get mad. You can't say F them for talking junk. Oh, you talking junk, F them, hey, get you. But no, you sold them that car. You sold them that car that you told them was everything and then some. You told them that this car was their car of their dreams. But when they drove it off the lot, it just broke down. You can't get mad at them. You can't get mad at them because you sold them a lemon, right? Now, I know it's a little different because Calvillo is putting her body on the line in this fight, but you're still selling yourself as a fighter. This is a business. And to make yourself well known as an entertainer in the UFC, you do have to sell yourself. And you sold us and the fans that you were one of the best grapplers and you're going to be, one of the toughest out there, that you're going to put on the best fights. You're taking on the best to put it all on the line, go down fighting. And in this fight, Calvillo really didn't do that. You know what I mean? She didn't do anything like that. She just went on the back foot, no adjustments made. And, there was really no type of signs of going down without a fight. You just went down. And that's why I brought up those 3 points. And, before I talked about the whole thing, was the fact that, she said, look, I'm calling Andrade out. I like to fight the best, even off a 10th month layoff. I'm calling Andrade out. I have the best grappling in the game. It's better than Andrade. And the other point I made, I can't remember off the top now. You can go back and listen. But y'all remember the 3 points I made about Calvillo going into this fight. Her confidence to call out in the best grappling in the game. All of those points that she made was she was selling to us, right? But it all just fell apart. So fans get mad. Fans get mad because you didn't do anything. You told us that you could, but you didn't. So fans have a right to be disappointed. Like calling you names, no. Sending you hate mail and death threats, no. You don't do that type of stuff. Hate tweets and going into Calvillo's IG, DMing her saying mean stuff like that. Immature stuff. You don't do that. But I mean, if the fans are disappointed and they voice their opinion about your performance, they have a right to. Like your performance, I give it a F or a D minus. D minus or F, because it was like, hey, you didn't do anything. You didn't apply any of the stuff that you told us you had. Better than Shevchenko at grappling? Okay. You're going to be a tough fight for Shevchenko? Okay. You still got to beat Andrade. And what happened with Andrade? Done. That's all it is, And like I said, this ain't bashing. This is just obvious stuff because it was like a con thing. You know what I mean? You say you got all of this. And then when we look, it's like, oh, man, what? Come on. And you can't really use the Andrade excuse like, oh, man, I didn't know the power was like that, because you've seen it time and time again. It's like when fighters like Evander Holyfield, when he took on Mike Tyson, he didn't say, oh, man, like I'm not prepared for the power. He's seen all of the tapes of Mike Tyson knocking people out. So Evander Holyfield, he came up with a strategy and a game plan to beat Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? He's seen him time and time again, and he knew what he was going to do. So if you see somebody like Andrade finishing fighters time and time again, you should know there's a blueprint for it. Speaking of blueprint, that just shows you that you're not elite. Like the fighters like Wei Li, Rose, and Joanna. Because what did they do? Okay, Joanna came up with the blueprint. Joanna came up with the blueprint for everybody. Jab, physical strength, takedown defense. That's all you have to do to beat Jessica Andrade. Good jab, good jab, good jab. Just stay in her face. Just keep it in her face. And that's what she used. You know what I mean? So there was a blueprint out there to beat Andrade. So that just shows you that Andrade may not be like these fighters, but she's still better than the rest of the flyweights. There's the elite, and then there's Andrade, and she still levels above plenty of these other fighters because she can make them fold with that athleticism and power and strength. You know what I mean? She can still make you fold with that intimidation factor. Her intimidation factor is on high. You know what I mean? Like Andrade may not have the best IQ, but her intimidation factor is on A. It's on A plus, and Calvillo, she saw it. She felt it. She saw it and she felt it. So yeah, man, from here, Andrade, let me talk about Andrade here real quick. Andrade segment. Andrade wants to fight the winner of Rose versus Wei Li. She thinks Rose is going to win the fight for good reason, because she knows that style is better for her, and she stopped Rose before, and Wei Li stopped her, right? So she thinks Rose is going to win the fight, and she wants to fight Rose in the third match for the strawweight title. No. I'll be quick on this one. No. Get in line behind Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza is on a 5-fight winning streak. She's done all the strawweight work. She deserves the next title shot. Calvillo was not a title eliminator for a strawweight fight. So no, Andrade. Look, we love you, Andrade, when you fight. We love your fight. You love your performances. We love how you do it. But we don't want to see you in a fight with Rose Namajunas or Wei Li yet. I mean, good matchups. I mean, it's Rose in third fight. Yeah, I'd love to see it all day, but not right now. I love that style matchup, even with Wei Li. Those great style matchups. But hey, got to get in line. Carla Esparza's next. Carla Esparza gets that work next. That's her fight. But you can't just move back down to 115 and think you're going to get the title shot just like that. Nah. So that's not fair. That's my opinion on that. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, open and shut. Nope. Get behind Carla Esparza. What do you guys think? All right. So we'll talk more about this, later on. Because like I said, there's always something, to look at as far as angles in the fight game, kind of like just give these fighters advice. Like I said, if you're a fighter on the come up and you hear the show, I don't just do all the, talking down or bashing. I'm just stating the obvious, man. And I'm just stating the obvious and doing my critiquing on what can make fighters better. Because, we liken it to real life. And even if we've been in the situation you've been in before, we liken it to that, So that's all it is over here. Just like when I talk about Calvillo, it's not that I don't like her. I was going for her. I'm even more disappointed because I was going for her and she didn't come through. You know what I mean? Because we believed in her. We believed in her. So it's more of a tough love type thing with fighters like that. You know what I mean? Like when we come down hard on them because we wanted to see them do good. And at the same time, you told us one thing but didn't do it. And that's the one thing. Like, if you're a fighter, you got to go in there and come through. You have to go in there and come through, or you ain't gonna make it. It's a game where you put your life on the line, y'all. Like, if not even for us, for yourself. So yeah, man. Let's jump to this last topic. Shevchenko Murphy might be here for a few minutes talking about this, but yeah, another first time for everything. Lauren Murphy, man. Oh man. First off, I have to say, look, this is a performance worth praising. Some people feel like it was kind of boring. I had the sound turned down while I was calling this fight with y'all. Like, I had it turned down on really, really low. Like, I could just hear like a little bit, because I was doing the fight companion with y'all. I couldn't hear it, but I was told that people were booing. I know people said they were booing the Curtis Blades fight. I don't know why, man. I was like, I like that fight. The Rosenstruck fight was good. Shevchenko Murphy fight was good. So people were booing. Maybe I got to go back and watch it. But anyways, like I said, this was a performance worth praising. Shevchenko, she understands that the fight is supposed to be a time to show how hard she worked in training to make the fight look easy. I said it another way, but the same thing. Look, Shevchenko, she doesn't care about the fight of the night, going blow for blow, trying to put on an exciting fight. She doesn't care about any of that. Shevchenko understands that, look, she's here to show off the hard work that I put into training, and all the mental preparation, spiritual preparation, technical preparation. She's putting all of that together, and she wants to show you how hard she worked by making the fight look easy. By making the fight look easy. And she does it with her mental, her mental game. The way she was able to break Lauren Murphy mentally just by the position and landing one right hand in the beginning of the round. She just does so much with just her mind to break these fighters. And I think that should be entertaining to fans. It's entertaining to me, somebody, a fan of martial arts. The fact that she prepares for everything. She hits those books hard. So when she comes into fight night, it's an easy 25 minutes or less. She doesn't just want to go in there and go blow for blow and take a beating. She wants to make sure her skills are better than yours, so everything in training is covered. So everything in training is covered. So fight night comes, it's a breeze. And that's the way it's supposed to be. That's why they always tell you, look, don't cram. Don't try to cram last minute. Try to absorb over the semester. Try to absorb all the knowledge over the semester, all the points that you need, in this lesson and so on, and just, live it, breathe it, eat it, sleep it, whatever, absorb all that information. So come exam day, it should be easy. So like the studying part and the remembering part, the studying part, getting all that down might be hard, that long semester of 9 weeks of training, preparing, studying, homework, all of that. It should, that should be the time where, you take the time to absorb all that information. Yeah, it's hard. But when exam day comes, that final comes, the final should be easy. You know why? Because you learned everything over the course of the, the 9 week period. You lived it, you breathed it, you just absorbed it. You don't just try to memorize it. When you try to cram, or if you just learn what you want to learn, you're going to have a hard night. You're going to have a hard night. You're going to be battling that exam, you're going to sweat, and you're possibly going to fail, so cramming doesn't work. So somebody like Valentina Shevchenko, she appreciates the process, and she likes to take her time and in these fights sometimes just to kind of showcase her skills, so I enjoy it. So to me, I think that's that should be the mind state of every fighter, preparation for dominance and winning not just a good fight for the fans, but just trying to win, for you. And I think that's when you want to win for you and you're not just putting on an entertaining fight, it makes for an entertaining fight that way, because you're bringing, the best version of you, not trying to bring what the fans want, if that makes sense. I think that's why Shevchenko, she's always been one of the she's going to always be one of the most dominant fighters, because she's just always about self-preservation, and I don't want people to mix that up with being selfish. She's definitely not selfish. She's a fighter that thinks of self-preservation, though. She wants to take care of herself, so she can take care of others, by entertaining others, because, if you think she's not a selfish person, because look how she's going to bat for the ring card girls. She's always thinking of her fans. She's trying to put in work in the gym to put on entertaining fights, because she says at the end of her fight, she's doing it for everybody. Then she speaks to all of her fans in 7 different languages. You know what I mean? So she's letting you know that, look, it's not just for me, it's for you. I'm just bringing you guys entertainment, but in the way I want to do it, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's a very unique thing that she brings to the sport. Valentina Shevchenko, I broke the fight down round by round. I'm not going to do that now, but it's just a very unique approach to the game. Like, you rarely see fighters like this. You've seen, for me, it's always boxing. I have to liken it to a lot of boxers I grew up with, and studied, Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, Andre Ward, all those great champions. They had those 3 Ds I was talking about. That's why they were on long range. Larry Holmes, they were able to look so dominant because training was where they really busted their behind. They really busted their behind in training, and they were really hard on themselves. So when fight night comes, it's all easy. It's a breeze. I've seen even like just scholars, I've known some kids growing up, like they would really beat themselves up and they would get mad if they got a B, in regular homework and things like that and regular projects. But, when it came down to the actual exam, they would always like ace it. They would ace it because they were really hard on themselves. Yeah, so hey, I think that's uh, how a lot of these fighters they approach the game. A lot of these champions that we've seen over the years, that's how they approach the game. And it's definitely something they need to take notes on. They got to take notes on this. Shevchenko is not just doing this. She's doing it, like I said, to reign supreme. But there's something that everybody on the come up they can learn from this. You can't just come in there one dimensional now. Episode's still coming about one dimensionality. I'm still gonna drop that episode. We're gonna have to talk about that for sure because the game is evolving, man. But yeah, Lauren Murphy though, man. I saw her post on her IG. And matter of fact, we can go ahead and read it now. I saw her post. She didn't take hers down, and it had people feeling a certain way. And I know fans of the fight, they were talking to me about it, and they were kind of upset with her because they feel like she didn't put everything on the line. And I can understand that. Yeah, she didn't. This wasn't the Lauren Murphy that we expected. We expected the blood and guts Lauren Murphy that was going to go in there and grind it out. But I really couldn't believe, like, after a couple shots, she was just shocked by the power of Shevchenko and couldn't even take a chance. Like, we know her as a gritty fighter, a very tough fighter that has absorbed shots from Andrea Lee and JoJo Calderwood and, been in rough beatings, Sarge Eubank, all of these fighters, you know what I mean? She's been in there with so many different fighters. So I just can't believe that after taking a couple shots, she just didn't want to engage. She really didn't want to engage. I thought that was crazy, but that just shows you the power of Shevchenko. The power and strength of Shevchenko was there, man, So, yeah, didn't want to take that chance. All right, so Lauren Murphy said this on her IG, right? Rough night at the office. I couldn't do ish in there last night. Sometimes it be like that. It's just like that. It was an honor to share the cage with the fighter of Valentina's caliber. I'm proud to have earned a spot across from her. I love the walkout. Felt great in the cage. My corners did a great job too. They just kept it simple and positive like I asked them to. I can't stand it when a corner rushes in and screams at a fighter about how they're losing rounds. I know when I'm losing rounds, and I knew what I needed to make. I needed to make something happen. I couldn't make it happen due to getting hit every time I tried. As the great Chael Sonnen once said, the problem is I was in there with a much better fighter tonight. It happens, but I'm okay. We live to fight another day. So yeah. I definitely agree with you that she was in there with a better fighter. I think we all knew that, but it to me, it was just up to her to go in there and put it all on the line, And if you really, really want it, you will put it all on the line. You will go for broke. But I think there came a point in there where she was intimidated by Shevchenko, and she didn't want it. She didn't want it as much as she thought she did. I think it's obvious she didn't, because she would have tried harder. She would have went in there and tried to get it. If you see that title was your baby and you want it, you're going to bust through there and you're going to try to get it. Nobody's going to hold you back like that. You've seen it time and time again, like even just what Deanna Bennett was able to kind of fire up in herself against Alejandra Lara. You know what I mean? Just things like that. So there's a flame in there. It was just put out that night. It was never ignited. It was just never ignited. And Lauren Murphy, I think telling her corner to just keep it simple and positive, that was just another sign of saying, hey, let's just go through the motions. Let's just have a fight. Let's just go in there and say we did it. But it wasn't really to win, because if you tell your corner to keep it simple and positive, and you just tell them, not to rush in and, be honest with you and tell you losing rounds, that's kind of just telling you, hey, I want to just go in here, have a night at the office and get it done. I really don't want to win. That's the kind of vibe I get, because if I have a corner, I want them to be honest with me. I mean, yeah, we don't always want yelling like in your face that you can't understand what it means, but you want them to be on you, telling you what you need to do. Because like trainers say, it's like a video game. And some fighters, they also say, like, I like when my trainer's watching, because he says it's like a video game. Like, he can see the little moves that I need to do. And when I do them, it works, because it's like a video game for the trainers. If you tell them to move a certain way, it will work for them, because you see something they don't. So it's good to have a trainer that does that. Emmanuel Stewart, like I brought him up, Emmanuel Stewart, he'll be on Lennox Lewis's behind, if he ain't doing what he's doing. Who else? Of course, Angelo Dundee told Sugar Ray Leonard, "You're blowing it, kid. You're blowing it, kid." He's telling you you're losing. So they have to raise their tone and they have to be assertive at some point if you want to move forward and if you want to win. But from the way she was saying, she told her corner to keep it simple. Then that's just telling you, hey, that she kind of called the shots there, and she didn't really want to go for what was real to get it there. And yeah, that's just the kind of vibe I got from it. But yeah, I just hope that from here, we have a lot of fighters taking notes. We get a lot of fighters taking notes, and they're understanding what Shevchenko brings to the table. Because Shevchenko right now, like I said, she's bringing something that not a lot of fighters are really showing that they're equipped for. We have UFC fighters, we got these, good caliber fighters. We got good competitive fights. Like I said, the flyweight division is 50-50. There's the elite level, but then there's the Shevchenko level. The Shevchenko level is made up of 3 Ds. Like I said, the Shevchenko level is made up of 3 Ds: discipline, defense, and dominance. And I'll break it down in another episode. But yeah, that's what Shevchenko has right now. That's everything that keeps her alive in there and thriving and keeping her the champion. And I think if you lack one of those Ds, you're not going to get it. If you lack 2 of them, you're not even going to be on that level in the top 10. I think those are the 3 Ds that even the triple threat they're working towards. And yeah, they still have to perfect themselves, and I might start using these Ds to actually kind of to gauge these fighters when I do a video about the triple threat. So yeah, man, Lauren Murphy didn't have any of them. She didn't have the defense, she didn't have the dominance factor, and she just didn't. Well, she had the discipline. I would say she had the discipline to get in there and and train for the fight, but it was just those 2 that she really lacked. Even the discipline because she didn't really commit to it. So that's why she got stopped. First time she's been stopped in her career. But yeah, man, final thoughts though on the whole situation. I just think from here, Shevchenko is going to continue to reign. She's tied with Ronda Rousey right now, and I see her going for 10 or more. Of course, I definitely could see her going for more, but just that round off number 10, I'll see her making 10 title defenses easy. Probably within 2023, unless one of the triple threat does something big. So yeah, from here on Shevchenko, she'll probably take on to Calderwood if Calderwood wins against Grasso. I think Grasso is still a little too low for Shevchenko. So yeah, I think Calderwood might be next. Andrade, I don't think she's fit for a rematch. I mean, that's quite obvious why. Maybe she'll fight the winner of Jennifer Maia versus Taila Santos if they fight. So yeah, it's all looking interesting on that lower level, but Shevchenko, man, just doesn't look like she's going anywhere. So last part of this podcast, I just want to say, look, the bar has been set for the rest of these flyweights out here. So it's all about hard work and beyond in those 3 Ds. So all these other flyweights right now, Shevchenko, look, she's showing y'all need to be on red alert right now. It need to be like one of those, news stations during like a zombie apocalypse or something. Everybody need to be running around not like in a frantic saying, okay, this is what we need to do. Oh, look what Shevchenko did again. We need to get our ish together. You know what I mean? We need to be, we have to get this together. We have to be well rounded. Look, get this. That's kind of what the vibe I kind of get every time she goes in there and dominates somebody. Like it's like all these other flyweights need to be doing that if they really want it. Are they doing that though? Are they? Are they just kind of chilling back saying, oh, I'm in the UFC, I'm good. This is all I want to do. Or are they in that panic like we gotta get right because when we get there, she's just on another level. Because she is like you can beat the number 1 and number 2 in the flyweight division, but when you get to Shevchenko, it's different. It's just so different. So yeah, man. That's pretty much all I got on this episode. I ran on a little longer than I wanted. Just a lot of stuff going on in the game. But yeah, from here, we got fight week. We got 4 fights again coming up this weekend. This fight weekend again. Let me pull up the fight schedule real quick before I bounce out on y'all. And while I'm talking to you, I guess we'll do the little yeah, we'll go ahead and do the little run through here. So let's see, October 2nd, we got four flyweight, not flyweight fights, but we just got 4 WMMA fights. And I'm gonna have to do a video talking about one of the. Okay, so in the bantamweight division, we got Stephanie Edgar versus Shanna Young. And then we have another bantamweight fight, Betch Coer. That's her farewell fight, right? Betch Coer versus Kel Rosa. I favor Kel Rosa in that fight. Women's flyweight. Got to do a talk about this fight here. Antonina Shevchenko, Casey O'Neill. This is Shevchenko's time, and if Casey O'Neill's not careful, Shevchenko could be dangerous in this fight. You know, Shevchenko ignites that fire like Andrea Lee did. You know, she could be dangerous in this fight, so she's got to be ready, or like Ariane Lipsky did. So yeah, she's got to be ready. Let's see. Aspen Ladd versus Macy Chiasson, another bantamweight fight. So 3 bantamweight fights and a flyweight fight. Aspen Ladd and Macy's on the main card. So yeah, that's your fights for the UFC. And yeah, final thoughts for this episode. Yeah, guys, like I said, man, you gotta, you know, if you really want this, you know, these fighters out here, they really want it. They just gotta follow those 3 Ds, you know, because that's what it's about. You know, you have to show that. Actually, disrespect could be one of the Ds too, because you have to go in there and show that fighter, look, this is mine. This is my time. Back off. That's the vibe that Valentina Shevchenko's always had. You know, she's always got that vibe like, you know, this is mine. I don't care who you are. Nothing personal. It's not that I don't like you, but I got to get you out of here. That's what it is. So flyweights, hey, take notice, take notes, and work hard. You know, no more joking, no more just getting on Instagram and just doing this and that. You know, no other side hustles right now. I mean, hey, side hustle's cool. Okay, side hustle's cool, but no getting sidetracked. You know what I mean? If you need to make money, of course, do that. Nobody want to stop your money, but do not take your eye off the prize. If you really want to get to the top 10, y'all need to start becoming more so well-rounded, and you have to go in there with that dominance factor, that defense factor, and that discipline factor. That's the only way I see anybody going in there and giving Shevchenko a tough fight. So yeah, guys, I'm out of here. Like always, make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel, Combo Breaker 99. Subscribe to hashtag CB99 Talks. iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play. And yeah, we'll be back with another episode next week. Like always, Combo Breaker 99. I am out. Subscribe. Peace.